I have a large bunch of fresh radishes, and I'm going to show you how to make a radish sandwich. People have been eating them for a very long time. I'm going to show you how to make them two ways. In Poland, people like to eat them with farmer's cheese. It's a very simple recipe, and it's very cheap. Many people grow radishes in their garden. It's an early spring crop. The first thing I'm going to do is wash and clean these radishes. I cleaned and washed my radishes, and now I'm going to slice them. You could cut them as thick and thin as you want. Just be careful you don't cut your finger. All the radishes are sliced, so now I'm going to assemble the sandwiches. I'm using a loaf of Italian bread, but you can use any bread that you like. This is my Long Island cutting board, and I got this as a gift, and we live right around here. My loaf of bread fits perfectly on it. You could have it on untoasted bread or toasted bread, and we're having it on untoasted bread. For the first thing I'm going to do is put some softened butter on the bottom of the bread. And make sure you soften it because then it's much easier to spread. And make sure you put a good amount of butter. I'm probably using 1 tablespoon per sandwich. Next, I'm piling the radishes on top of the butter. You want to put quite a few so you get the nice radish taste. This is a good springtime recipe. The radishes are one of the first vegetables to come out of the garden. Now you would sprinkle them with some salt, but Grandpa and I don't use salt, so I eliminate the salt. I'm going to use pepper instead. I'm only using a little pepper because radishes are peppery. These are done now, and I'm going to put the top bread on. So as you could see, they were a great sandwich to make during the Depression with very few ingredients. And most likely back then in the Depression, everybody baked their own bread. Like my grandparents, my grandmother baked her own bread, and my grandfather had a vegetable garden. So this really cost them very little. How's it taste, Grandpa?
Let you know in a minute, Ma. Sandwich tastes pretty good, Ma. Since I never had this before. First time. Tastes pretty good.
Now I'm going to taste my sandwich. The radishes are very crunchy, but delicious. They go really well with the butter. This is very simple, but it is delicious and healthy. Now I'm going to show you how to make a Polish radish sandwich. Instead of butter, I'm using farmer's cheese. I used a 1/3 cup of farmer's cheese, and now I'm going to use about a tablespoon of sour cream. I'm mixing in enough sour cream into the farmer's cheese to make the farmer's cheese more spreadable. I added another teaspoon of sour cream, so now it looks good. I'm sprinkling some dried dill on the farmer's cheese. If you have fresh dill, you could use that instead. You could use as much or as little as you like. You can also use some salt and pepper. I'm just going to use a little bit of pepper. Now I added my pepper and I'll mix it in. Instead of the butter, I'm spreading the farmer's cheese on the bottom of the bread. I'll add a little more because I like farmer's cheese. It's so delicious. Now we're going to add the radishes to the bread. Radishes are very healthy, so make sure you use a lot of them. If you want to make this sandwich, it's better to buy the radishes with the greens. Don't buy the bag of radishes. These are much more tastier with the greens on them. Okay, sandwich. I'm going to cut this in half, and Grandpa and I are going to split it. How's it taste, Grandpa?
Let you know in a moment. It tastes good, Ma.
Glad you like it, Pa. Which one do you like better?
I think I like the first one with the butter.
Okay, now I'm going to try this sandwich, the radish sandwich. Well, I have to say, Grandpa, I like this one over the butter because I love farmer's cheese. And the dill and the radishes, it's so delicious. If you can't find farmer's cheese, you could use cottage cheese, but I would drain the cottage cheese. The first sandwich with the butter would have been good with the dill also. I didn't put dill on the first one because most people eat it plain.